Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back into another edition of Keytime Sports. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the Key on Millions.co. Here is my media feed. Here is my merchandise. We have merchandise on Millions.co. Here is my merchandise. And here is my profile so that you will know that it is me. So now we are going to get down to business because we getting down to the nitty gritty. The Super Bowl is right around the corner, and I am not going to waste anybody's time. So here is the updated playoff bracket for the NFL. We have the Denver Broncos, the Buffalo Bills and Denver Broncos tomorrow afternoon. Then we have the San Francisco 49ers and Seattle Seahawks tomorrow afternoon. And on Sunday we have Texans Patriots and Rams Bears. So this is going to be an interesting and entertaining weekend of football. And to finish out football, we have the Indiana Hoosiers and the Miami Hurricanes playing on Monday night. So, before I get into this, I just want to talk about the matchup predictions for this game. I'm going to go down a list and give you all the the statistics for the Buffalo Bills and how they got here. So, we get past regular season is done. These are just playoff stats. So this is only going by the last game that the Buffalo Bills played. So the last game Buffalo Bills played was against the Jaguars. Josh Allen, 28 of 35, 80% completion percentage, 273 yards. He had one touchdown, 0 interceptions. James Cook and Josh Allen, they really shouldered the load on as far as the rushing attack. Here's their receiving: Khalil Shakir, Brandon Cooks, Keon Coleman, Dalton Knox, Dalton Kincaid, Tyrell Shavers, Gabe Davis, Frank Gore Jr., and Jared Cook III. So, Buffalo comes into this game, and I'm just going to say this. Buffalo, they need another Herculean effort if they want to win. They do. Need another Herculean effort. And also, when it comes to their defense, the defense did okay as far as defending the Jaguars, but facing the Broncos is a different thing. And also, you're going into Mile High. Now, here's the Broncos statistics when it comes to Bo Nix and all of his players. See, these are the regular season stats for the Denver Broncos. You have Bo Nix. He threw for over 3,000 yards, almost 4,000. Then you have the rushing game led by J.K. Dobbins. Then you have the wide receiver core led by Cortland Sutton and Trey Franklin. Then you have Evan Ingram at tight end, Peyton Bryant, and all of these other wide receivers and tight ends. And then we get to the defense. The defense for the Denver Broncos is the driving force for the Denver Broncos. Now, earlier on, and this was before the preseason happened, Sean Payton said that his team could make it to the Super Bowl. He said that he had a Super Bowl team. And I do think that the Denver Broncos, they do have a Super Bowl defense. But what is that offense going to do? Can Bo Nix start off fast and play the way he needs to play? Because the Denver Broncos will not be able to get down by 10, 14 points and try and fight their way back in this game. Not against the Buffalo Bills, because I believe if the Buffalo Bills get a double-digit lead in this game, all of a sudden they're going to start running the game. They're going to start running the ball. And also, we already know that Josh Allen, he is going to put his Superman cape on and try and find a way to keep control of the game. So now, here's the defense for the Denver Broncos. Solo tackles, they have 1,282 solo tackles. So, when we get to the preview for this game, let's see. I got it somewhere. There we go. I got it somewhere. So, Broncos host first playoff game in a decade, face banged up Bills in divisional round on Saturday, on tomorrow. Denver, after the Buffalo Bills ended the Broncos season with a 31-7 thrashing in the playoffs last year, Sean Payton resolved to return the postseason party to Denver with its mile-high air and thunderous stadium rattling crowd. We talked about earning seeds and trying to get all the edges. It was the same way I felt in the first year in 2006 in New Orleans. When we lost in Chicago in the championship game, how do we get this game at home? Recounted Peyton, whose New Orleans Saints did just that 3 years later, on their way to winning the Super Bowl following the 2009 season. Now in his third season in Denver, Peyton is on track, is trying to become the first head coach to win Lombardi trophies with two different franchises. That has never happened in the history of the NFL. The well-rested Broncos, 14-3, earned home field advantage by taking security, the AFC top seed, and lone first round bye. They host the banged up six-seeded Bills, 13-5, who are coming off of their first round playoff triumph since the 1992 AFC Championship game Saturday at Empowered Field at Mile High. It's the first playoff game in Denver in a decade since January 24th, 2016, when the Broncos beat New England in the 17th and final matchup between superstars Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. The Broncos have won 13 of their past 14 home games and were 8-1 in Denver this season. Their only loss coming to the Jacksonville Jaguars, the team the Bills eliminated last weekend in Josh Allen's first career fourth quarter comeback in the playoffs. With Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson sitting out of these playoffs, this might be Allen's best chance to finally win the big one. But he's dealing with ailments to his right foot, left knee, and throwing hand. And he's also checked for a concussion last weekend. I feel good, Allen insisted. I feel good. I feel better than I have in the last few weeks. 14 other Bills were listed on the injury report this week. Buffalo coach Sean McDermott ruled out safety Jordan Poyer, hamstring, cornerback Maxwell Harrison, ankle. Also wide receivers Gabe Davis and Tyrell Shavers landed in on IR this week because of knee injuries. Allen hasn't missed a game because of an injury since his rookie season in 2018. I don't know where the toughness comes from, Allen said. Obviously, country boy, out in the middle of nowhere, my worst fear as a kid was missing games. Even when I got in trouble, my parents would threaten me missing a game and not playing in it. And I was like, all right, I'll behave. So I just love being out there. Allen and the NFL leading rusher James Cook will face a much improved Denver defense, which looks nothing like the unit that gashed for 210 yards on the ground in last year's playoffs. The Broncos added safety Talanoa Hufanga, outside linebacker Dre Greenlaw in free agency, and they played a big role in Denver's number one ranking in sacks and red zone efficiency. They're built the right way, McDermott said. Behind Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper, the Broncos led the league with 68 sacks and sealing the escape route up In the middle, in Vance Joseph's cage, the quarterback scheme was all pro defensive tackle Zach Allen, who led the league with 47 QB hits. The Broncos ranked second against the run this season, so the Bills might have to lean on their depleted receiving group Saturday. Obviously, not an ideal situation, Josh Allen said, but I still trust that room completely. However, we need how whoever bring ups need to step up. And we have full confidence that they will. Depleted supporting cast, banged up body, it doesn't matter, Zach Allen said. His combination of every single quarterback in this league, Zach Allen. He doesn't he does what they do best. It's just so rare. He's got the arm, he's got the IQ to make the right decision with the ball. He's got the size, the running ability, and the leadership. It's a lethal combination. That's why everyone's calling him Superman. Tables turn. Bo Nix, who tied the NFL record with 24 wins in his first two seasons, said that he's glad it's Josh Allen who will have to deal with the crowd noise this time around. Last year was a tough environment, tough road experience, Nick said. It's obviously nice to be at home. It's nice for that challenge to be on the other side. Being able to use verbal cadence, being able to talk, being able to communicate is going to be better for us. Boasting Bosa. Bills edge rusher Joey Bosa wasn't the only one disappointed with his lack of production against Jacksonville. Coordinator Bobby Batch weighed in on the 10th year player finishing with a stat line that featured just one QB hit. He knows what we are expecting and what he needs to do and what his job is. Bitch said he knows he needs to play better. Coleman's contributions. Buffalo Bills injury depleted receiver position provides Keon Coleman an opportunity. The second year receiver playing time and production have dropped severely since a one-game team suspension in week 11 for being late to a team meeting, his third such infraction. I know what I can do. That hasn't changed, said Coleman, one of the just 3 healthy receivers on Buffalo's active roster. Now, when we get to the point spread for this game, this is the very first game that I am going to cover. It is a 1.5 point spread for this game. And I do believe that the Broncos are going to win this game some way, somehow. Mile High is going to take over this game, and the altitude. I always go back to the altitude of Denver when it comes to the defense. Also, Buffalo Bills defense not being able to make consistent stops on defense, it will be because of the altitude and the air of Denver. So I got Denver winning this game. The next game I am going to cover is the San Francisco 49ers and the Seattle Seahawks. Now, one thing I am going to tell you all about the San Francisco 49ers is Brock Purdy has never lost in Seattle before. He's 4-0. Now, here is the 49ers statistics. These are postseason statistics. So the game that they just played versus the Eagles, here it is. Brock Purdy, 18 of 31, 262 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, led by Christian McCaffrey in the rushing attack, led by Dante Robinson in the receiving corps. Here is the defense for the 49ers. And also, here is the scoring who all did the scoring for the 49ers. Who also did the kicking is Eddie Pinero. And also, once we get to the Seattle Seahawks, I'm just going to tell y'all something. The Seattle Seahawks is that diamond in the rough team for me. I don't know what to expect when it comes to Sam Darnold. Even though in the regular season he threw for over 4,000 yards, he hasn't won a playoff game yet. Hasn't won a playoff game yet. So now, here is Sam Darnold's passing game, and here is Kenneth Walker the third, bell cow running back. Here is Jackson Smith and Jigba, receiving core, and Cooper Kupp. Now, I just want to tell y'all something. As far as the defense for the Seattle Seahawks, it's been good. It's been okay. But there's just something I was thinking about this as I was prepping for this show. I had a conversation with Brock Purdy just a few. This was like the early part of last year, in April of last year. So I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna show y'all a picture of me and Brock Purdy. So I had a 3-minute conversation with him. This was shortly after, like, this was April. So this was like during the off season, early in the off season. And I had a 3-minute conversation with him, and I asked him, I said, Brock, how are you doing? How's your injuries? He said that he's good. And I told him, I asked him, I said, what are the 49ers going to do this coming up season? And he told me, he said, you're going to have to wait to see and find out. But he also told me, just to make the long story short, he said that he expected to be back in this situation. He said that nobody is prepared for what the 49ers are going to do. Now, like I said, Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive play caller and a great coordinator and a great head coach. Now, this was reason why I made this post was because this was during early in the season where Brock Purdy had a toe injury and a shoulder injury, but now he is back. So that's all I wanted to tell you all, our little social encounter. And also, let's get back to the game at hand when it comes to the prediction matchup and as far as the preview. Now, the preview for this game, the Seahawks don't expect many surprises when they host the 49ers in the playoffs 2 weeks after their last meeting. So, for the Seattle Seahawks to host another playoff game and move closer to the 4th Super Bowl appearance in franchise history, they will have to dispose a familiar foe. Very familiar. Top-seeded Seahawks, 14-3, host the San Francisco 49ers, 13-5 in the NFC's divisional round on Saturday night. That it'll be the second meeting in 3 weeks between the NFC West rivals and the third time they have squared off in the playoffs. Seattle won the division and secured the number 1 seed with a dominant 13-3 win over Brock Purdy and hosts the 49ers on January 3rd. That was the lowest scoring output for the 49ers since they lost 23-3 to Carolina in Kyle Shanahan's debut in 2017. Purdy said the San Francisco 49ers will not have to make adjustments against the NFL's top-ranked scoring offense. We just played them 2 weeks ago, so looking back at the other game plan, as we'll have to have as well having it sort out fresh in your mind, Purdy said, picking up where you left off and obviously making some changes where you need to, but yet it feels like we just played them. Seahawks defensive lineman Leonard Williams recognizes it will be a challenge to slow down San Francisco's 10th ranked scoring offense with Seattle's recent success against the Niners. They've clearly shown that they have a good offense and a good defense, with Williams said. But at the same time, I trust our team. Seattle finished with Seattle finished the season with 7 straight wins to finish out a franchise record 14 victories. However, one of their losses came at home versus San Francisco in week 1. And the Seattle Seahawks offense had some fresh concerns on Thursday when quarterback Sam Darnold injured his left oblique in practice. He was listed as questionable, but he said he's confident he will play. Seahawks coach Mike McDonald doesn't expect to see much that's different about the 49ers, given they've just played once since the last meeting. You're really going off how you felt like you played the game. Things you did well, maybe where you might take things, McDonald said. Another short week for the 49ers. The 49ers played their final 2 games of the regular season with 1 day fewer rest than normal, including their Week 18 loss to Seattle. They're in the same situation this week against the well-rested Seattle after playing their wild card game on Sunday. Coach Kyle Shanahan has had lobbied for Sunday's game this week to no avail, leading the team with limiting practice and changing meeting times to give players as much rest as possible. We can't control that kind of stuff, linebacker Eric Kendrick said. At the end of the day, we're only playing meaningful football. We want to play meaningful football. These games mean a lot. We know what's at stake, so we better get ready for it. Seahawks prepping for Pearsall. Niners wide receiver Ricky Pearsall has not played since December 28th due to a knee injury, but returned to practice this week in a limited capacity. A return by Pearsall would be a boost for San Francisco, especially after all-pro tight end George Kittle tore his right Achilles tendon in the 49ers' 23-19 win at Philadelphia. McDonald and the Seahawks expect to see Pearsall in the lineup. They have a lot of talented receivers, but he's definitely one of them, McDonald said. He's definitely complements the rest of the guys in terms of what he does in his skill set, and now they use him. Play callers matching wits. McDonald, who calls the Seahawks defensive plays, got the best of Shanahan in the last meeting, but the Niners coach, long regarded as an elite player, out-schemed Philadelphia defensive coordinator Vic Fangio last week. Seattle also combined 20 points to San Francisco in 2 meetings this season. McDonald also beat Shanahan in 2023 when he was with Baltimore defensive coordinator, and the Ravens intercepted Purdy 4 times. They have a very good scheme. They're very balanced, and they can hit you in any way, Shanahan said. I think the personal not only is the talent for any scheme that is perfectly talented for their scheme. I think they've been playing with not the exact same lineup, but close to the same group for 2 straight years now. When you have a talented group with a very good scheme that's been playing together for 2 years, that's pretty good. The point spread for this game, America. Point spread for this game is the Seattle Seahawks at 7 points, a touchdown favorite. One thing about this is a very, very tough game. I like what I'm seeing from the 49ers. I talked to Brock Purdy back in April of last year. He told me that The 49, he's not surprised because the 49ers will be back on this stage no matter what. I showed y'all the picture for anybody who doesn't remember, or here's the picture again. Brock Purdy is a nice guy on and off the field. Now, let's get to the point spread of this game and my prediction. I am going to say that the Seattle Seahawks will win this game, but only under one condition. If Sam Darnold starts throwing interceptions, then the 49ers will win this game. This game is going to be all about ball control. That's what this game is going to be about. Who can control the football the longest? Who can control the football the longest? It's all about ball control. So I got the Seattle Seahawks winning this game. I believe the 12th man is going to be something serious, because in past years the 12th man has been one of the reasons where Seattle has won most of their games. So the next game I am going to cover is the Houston Texans and the New England Patriots. So first off, Houston Texans are led by none other than CJ Stroud. And CJ Stroud, he's had a good season. Also, the game versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, had a good game. Had one touchdown and one interception. The rushing attack for the Houston Texans versus the Steelers cracked over 100 yards. Christian Kirk, he had a good game, and he had one of his catches in the game changed the entire momentum for the Houston Texans in that game. And plus, the Houston Texans had their first road victory in franchise history, playing the Pittsburgh Steelers last Monday. On Monday. This Monday just passed. So now we get to the defense, and let me tell you all something. Houston Texans have the top ranked defense in every statistical category. Points, yards, third down defense, fourth down defense. Houston is top notch. Now, let me fast forward on over to the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, they have Drake May at the helm. Also, their game against the Chargers, it was pretty much a defensive slugfest. The defense for the Patriots, they had 7, and I do mean 7 sacks as a defensive unit. So here is the Patriots defense. Here is the rushing and receiving for the Patriots. So now let's get to the preview for this game. The preview for this game is, when it comes to Texans, top-ranked defense looks to slow down Drake May and Patriots in divisional matchup. Drake May made his first NFL start against the Houston Texans. The New England Patriots' second-year quarterback has come a long way in 15 months. That feels like almost 10 years ago. It's been a long journey, May said. Running out there with the first snap jitters was pretty cool. It was fun to look back on it. We'll hopefully have a different outcome from that game. May and CJ Stroud each threw 3 touchdown passes that day, but May also was intercepted twice and sacked 4 times in the Texans' 41-21 win. Houston and New England. Houston 13-5 and New England 15-3 meet again Sunday, with this time with a trip to the AFC Championship game at stake. The Patriots are seeking their first appearance in the title game since 2018, when they went on to win a 6th Super Bowl. The Texans have never made it that far, having lost in the divisional round in each of the past 2 seasons under third-year coach DeMeco Ryans. We've been in this position before. I think we've learned from those things. Now it's time to go put it on tape, Stroud said. Both teams have exceeded expectations. Patriots went from the worst to first in the AFC East, while the Texans recovered from a 0-3 start and are riding a 10-game winning streak. It's a matchup of strength against strength. The Patriots average an AFC best 28.8 points per game, and the Texans have the NFL's top ranked defense. I respect how hard they play. New England coach Mike Vrabel said they're not only talented, but they have a play demeanor that I can appreciate. Ryans believe much of the Patriots' offensive success can be traced back to Drake May's growth under offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. He's impressed with how much freedom May, in the league's most accurate passer, has been given. I think he's doing really well, a really good job of not making bad decisions with the football, Ryan said, where he's taking the next step in his ability to escape the pocket. I think it's really doesn't get talked about much, but his athletic ability, his ability to escape the pocket has been really clutch for them. Texans thin at wide receiver with Collins out. Texans top receiver, Pro Bowler Nico Collins is expected to miss the game after sustaining his second concussion of the season in Monday night's wildcard win at Pittsburgh. Christian Kirk had a big game against the Steelers, and the Texans are hoping for a repeat performance. The eighth-year veteran set a career high and franchise playoff record with 144 yards. Kirk had just 239 yards receiving in the regular season. Houston will also look for rookies Jaden Higgins and Jalen Noel to pitch in after the college teammates from Iowa State combined for 817 yards receiving and 8 touchdowns in the regular season. The Texans will also try to get tight end Dalton Schultz more involved after he had just 12 yards receiving on Monday night. I'm the most confident in everybody in there to get the job done, Stroud said. Stroud says short memory is key in playoffs. Stroud fumbled the ball twice in 14 regular season games, but coughed up the ball 5 times against the Steelers. 2 of them leading to turnovers. He also threw an interception. Stroud hopes to take better care of the ball, but he said mistakes happen against strong opponents in the playoffs, and the key is not letting those miscues affect the next play. I watched almost all wild card games since we played the last game. Stroud said everybody makes mistakes. Everybody had that moment where it was like, dang, we're messing this up. Then the teams who find a way to fight through that and keep going were the teams that came out on top. Stroud also threw for 250 yards and a touchdown, and he became the 4th quarterback in NFL history to start with a win in the playoff, win in a playoff game each of his first 3 seasons. Campbell shrugs off criticism. One thing the Patriots rookie left tackle Will Campbell has learned this season is how to ignore naysayers. Campbell was criticized on social media after yielding a team-high 6 pressures and 2 sacks, including a strip sack in the Patriots' wildcard win over the Chargers. Now he'll face a stiffer challenge against Houston's fearsome defensive ends, All-Pro Will Anderson Jr. and Danielle Hunter. I don't give a expletive what anyone says, to be honest with you, Campbell said, it's easy to type behind a Twitter account that is fake. I hold myself to the highest expectation of anybody. These are the best teams with the best best defenses, and the best offenses. The best players, they're in the playoffs for a reason. Diggs faces his former team. Patriots wide receiver Stephon Diggs welcomes the chance to shine against the Texans, for whom he played one injury shortened season. Diggs was traded by Buffalo to Houston following the 2023 season. He played 8 games for the Texans in 2024 before suffering a season-ending knee injury. He then signed with New England and led them led them with 85 catches, 1,013 receiving yards. He's very explosive after he catches the ball, Brian said. Another guy we've got to make sure we have our eyes on. Point spread for this game is tight, and it remains tight. The point spread for this game it opened up at 3, and it remains at 3, and I believe the Patriots are going to win this game. I do. I believe the Patriots are going to win this game because it is hard in January to go into Foxborough and come out of there with a win. It is. The next and final game I am going to cover is the Los Angeles Rams and the Chicago Bears. I'm going to give you all the rosters for this game. Here are the statistics for the Rams, led by Matthew Stafford. The last game that they played, he was 24 of 42, 304 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception. Rushing, led by Karen Williams, Blake Corum, Puka Nacua, and also Matthew Stafford. He ran a little bit. Receiving, led by Puka Nacua, Devontae Adams, Tyler Higbee, Cody Parkinson. Here is the defense for the Rams, led by K. Curl, L. Landman, E. Forbes Jr., Q. Lake, and everybody else who is on this list is for the Rams defense. Now, let's shift on over to those cardiac Chicago Bears led by Caleb Iceman Williams. Everybody, emphasis on the Iceman because we all know that Caleb Williams is cool under pressure, baby. We all know that. Now, let me get to the statistics. Caleb Williams last game was 24 of 48, 361 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He got to calm down on the interceptions, though. Rushing attack, led by DeAndre Swift. Receiving, led by Coastal Loveland, Dante Moore, Rome of Doomsday. Here is the defense. Now, the defense has came on strong for the Bears. Defenses came on strong. Here's everybody that is on the defense for the Chicago Bears. Now, let me get to the previews for y'all in this game. Preview for this game is Matthew Stafford and Rams visit Caleb Williams and Bears in matchup of high-powered offenses. Los Angeles Rams 13-5 at Chicago 12-6. Rams against the point spread 12-6. Bears 10-7-1. Series record, Bears lead 55-39-3. Last meeting, Bears beat Rams 24-18 at Chicago on September 29, 2024. Last week, Rams won at Carolina 34-31. Bears beat Green Bay 31-27. Rams offense overall, number 1. Rush, number 7. Pass, number 1. Scoring, number 1. Rams defense overall, 17. Rush, 12. Pass, 19. Scoring, 10. Bears offense overall, 6. Rush, 3. Pass, 10. Scoring, 9. Bears defense overall, 29. Overall, 27. Pass, 22. Scoring, 23. Turnover differential. Rams plus minus 11. Bears plus minus 22. Rams, players to watch. Defensive back Quentin Lake returned after missing the last 7 games of the regular season because of an elbow injury. The long layoff clearly hindered him at times, but Lake had 6 tackles and broke up 2 passes as the only Rams defender to play every snap in the wild card victory over the Panthers. Lake will have to be on top of his game to help contain the Bears. Bears players to watch: Caleb Iceman Williams. Williams once again delivered down the stretch as Chicago rallied from 18 down to beat the Packers in his playoff debut. Now he will try to join Sid Luckman, 1941, and Jim McMahon, 1985, and Rex Grossman in 2006 as the only quarterbacks to win multiple playoff games in a season. Chicago outscored Green Bay 25-6 in the fourth quarter last week on their way to its 7th comeback win. Williams, the number 1 pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, threw for a franchise playoff record 361 yards and 2 late touchdowns, including a go-ahead 25-yarder to DJ Moore with 1 minute 43 seconds remaining during the regular season. The former USC star and a club record with 3,942 yards passing to go with 27 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. Key matchup: the Rams linebackers Jared Verse and Brian Young against the Bears left tackle Theo Bendette. The Rams have 2 Pro Bowl outside linebackers who figured to be the threat to the left side no matter how they're moved around. Young had 12 sacks during the regular season, and Verse finished with 7.5. Bennett figures to fill in for Ozzie Trapilo, who suffered a season-ending injury against Green Bay after emerging as the starting left tackle during his rookie season. Key injuries: the Rams QB Matthew Stafford is good after spraining index finger on his throwing hand while following through and making contact with a Panthers defender. Right guard Kevin Dotson is on track to return after missing the past 3 games because of an ankle injury, giving the offensive line its best and most consistent player. Cornerback Athkello Witherspoon was placed on injured reserve and is out for the season after re-injuring his shoulder blade against Carolina. Darius Williams or Josh Wallace could replace him. The Bears lost linebacker TJ Edwards, broken fibula, and left tackle Ozzie Trapilo, knee to season-ending injuries last week. Edwards was carted off the field in the second quarter, and Trapilo hopped on the sideline on Chicago's go-ahead drive near the end of the game. Cornerback C.J. Gardner-Johnson, concussion, who has missed last week's game, would have been a full participant. Wednesday had the Bears practice rather than conduct a walkthrough. Series notes: the Bears have dropped 3 straight against the Rams before beating them in Week 4 last season, though Los Angeles was missing injured star receivers Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. This is the 3rd playoff game between the Rams and Bears. The 1985 Bears won 24-0 in the NFC Championship game, holding Hall of Famer Eric Dickerson to 46 yards rushing on 17 carries on the way to capturing the franchise lone Super Bowl title. The Rams defeated the Bears in the divisional round in 1950 before losing the NFL championship to the Cleveland Browns. Stats and stuff. We got a lot of stats to call here. A lot of them. The Rams are in the divisional round for the fifth time in 7 postseason appearances under Coach Sean McVay. They are 2-2 in divisional games, having defeated the Cowboys after the 2018 season and the Buccaneers after the 2021 season, en route to Super Bowl appearances, but lost to the Packers after the 2020 season and at the Eagles last season. Stafford has thrown multiple touchdown passes in each of its 8 playoff games for LA, with 18 passes to 4 interceptions. That in that span, if he throws 2 or more scores against Chicago, Stafford would tie Aaron Rodgers 9 for the longest streak of postseason games with multiple touchdowns in NFL history. Stafford game-winning drive against Carolina was his 4th in the postseason and 54th overall. Wide receiver Puka Nacua had 10 receptions for 111 yards and 1 touchdown against the Panthers, producing his 5th game this season with double-digit catches and 100 yards. It was Nakua's 2nd postseason 100-yard performance. The Rams finished with 411 total yards in the wild card win, their 7th game this season with at least 30 points and 400 yards. McVay has faced 15 different teams in his 15 playoff games as Rams head coach, and a win guaranteed his first repeat opponent against either the Seahawks or the 49ers in the NFC Championship game. Chicago is coming off his first playoff win in 15 years. The Bears had lost 3 straight postseason games since 2010. Team beat Seattle in a division game. Chicago rallied from 18 down against Green Bay, the biggest postseason comeback in franchise history. It was also the largest playoff comeback in the NFL since 2022. The Jacksonville Jaguars rallied to beat the Los Angeles Chargers 31-30 in a wild card game after trailing 27-0. The Bears had a league-leading 103 points in the 4th quarter and overtime, weeks 9 to 18 during the regular season. Chicago led the league in interceptions, 23, takeaways 33, and turnover differential plus minus 22, while committing a league low 11 turnovers. The Bears were the first team to lead the NFL in takeaways and commit the fewest turnovers since San Francisco in 2011. The point spread for this game and the finality of my predictions for the divisional round in the NFL. Right now, Los Angeles Rams are a 4.5 point favorite. It opened up at 4.5. Now the point spread is 3.5. One thing I can say that this is going to be a tough game no matter what. Going to be a tough game. But one thing I am going to say is don't sleep on Chicago, because I still got Chicago winning this game, because we already know it is the win in the game is going to determine the outcome, and neither of these teams are going to kick very many field goals. There's supposed to be at least a 20-mile-per-hour wind in Chicago during the game. And also, it is going to be cold, and I believe it's going to be a few snow flurries in the air. So I got the Chicago Bears winning this game. So now I am going to go back over all of the games that I talked about when it comes to as far as Playoff bracket. Okay, we got the Bills and the Broncos. I got the Broncos in that. Okay, Texans versus Patriots. I got the Patriots in that. Seattle Seahawks versus San Francisco 49ers. I got the Seahawks in that. Hopefully, Sam Darnold does not mess this up. And for the Rams and Bears, I got the Bears in that game. So now, all in all, this is going to be a very, very entertaining weekend of football. And Monday morning, I will give you all my national championship prediction. I will. I will give you all my national championship prediction on Monday. And as for that, those are my predictions for the divisional playoff round in the NFL. Please like, comment, share, subscribe to Keytime Sports right here on YouTube, Key City Sports on Instagram, and the key on millions.co. Here is my profile so that you will know it's me. We also have merchandise that is on sale in my millions.co. Here is shirts. We also have hoodies. We also have sweaters. We are going to have more and more compression shirts. Also, here is my media feed so that you can see all of my different segments, comments, sound bites, and clips from all of the shows that I have done. Remember, everybody, one last thing. The key is always on time.